In order to generate employment activities, government had introduced section 80JJAA under chapter 6A of Income Tax Act 1961. This section 80JJAA provides for a deduction for additional employee cost. This section is applicable to a person who is running a business and his accounts are to be audited under section 44AB. Now the quantum of deduction under section 80JJAA is 30% of the additional employee cost. He will get an additional deduction of 30% of the amount which he has paid for the additional employees during the year. This deduction can be taken for 3 assessment years from the year in which the employee first joined the organization. Now we will discuss about some terms. What is additional employee cost? What is additional employee? Additional employee cost. In case of existing business, additional employee cost will be nil if there is no increase in the number of employees compared to previous year. This is for the existing businesses. In case of new business, the emolument paid or payable to the employees in the first year itself will be treated as additional employee cost. So for existing business, additional employee cost will be nil if there is no increase in the number of employees compared to last day of the preceding year. For example, if we are testing this applicability of this section for the year 2022-23, first we have to see what was the headcount as on 31/3/2022 and what is the headcount as on 31/3/2023. If there is an increase in number of employees, then this section is applicable to the existing businesses. And for new business, since preceding year there were no employees, so employed during the year 22-23 itself will be treated as additional employees, and emolument paid to them will be the additional employee cost for the purpose of this section. Now what is additional employees? Additional employees means the increase in the number of employee compared to previous year. As we have already discussed, what was the headcount on 31/3/2022, what is the headcount on 31/3/2023. The increase is the additional employees, number of additional employees. But few categories of employees are excluded. Specifically, they are excluded from the definition of additional employees. Who are they? The employees whose total emolument is more than 25,000 per month. They are excluded. Number 2, the employees whose contribution is paid by the government under EPS scheme. They are excluded. Number 3, the employees who are not the member of recognized provident fund, they are also excluded. And number 4, the employees who have not worked more than 240 days during the year with the organization. they have to work, means that employee has to be there with the organization for minimum of 240 days during the previous year. Then only his emolument will be considered for the additional cost of employees. If an employee has worked less than 240 days in the previous year and worked more than 240 days in the succeeding year, suppose in 22-23 he has worked only for 200 days, so his cost will not be considered for this deduction purpose for the year 2022-23. And the same employee, now next year he has worked more than 240 days in 23-24, then his salary, his emoluments will be considered for the purpose of this section. So this is all about section 80 JJAA, wherein additional cost of employees will, on the first place it will be debited in the profit and loss account as usual in the salary and in the employee benefit account, anyway it will be there. Over and above the expenses which has been incurred on the additional employees, 30% of the total cost will also be given as exemption under section 80JJA. Few more conditions have to be fulfilled by the SSE who wants to claim deduction under section 80JJA. Number 1 is that business should not be formed by splitting up or reconstructing of existing business. The condition number 2 is business should not be acquired by way of transfer or by business reorganization. And the condition number 3 is a report from a chartered accountant in form 10DA has to be furnished along with the income tax return. Lastly, the beauty of this section is the deduction under section 80JJA is available even to those SSEs who have opted for concessional rate of income tax act. Section 115BAA to section 115BAD provide for concessional rate of income tax for different SSE foregoing the chapter 6A deduction. Section 80JJAA, even though it falls under chapter 6A, still this deduction is available to the SSEs who have opted for concessional rate of income tax. Many of the SSEs are not aware or ignorant of this section. However, this section provides immense financial benefits for the new businesses and also for the existing businesses who are going for expansion. It brings huge tax savings. So the SSE should always take deduction under section 80JJAA if all those conditions are fulfilled. Thank you.